Hey, welcome to Life After Nursing School. I'm your host, Caroline Dana, aka Nurse Coach Caroline, and I'm here to help you, the new nurse, thrive in your career. As a former nurse recruiter, nurse manager, and now your personal new nurse career coach, I'm obsessed with making sure you don't just survive your first couple of years at the bedside. I want you to absolutely rock them. From the challenges to the triumphs, I'll be right here with you, giving you the real-world advice and support that you need to shine. Whether you're in nursing school getting ready for life after, or you're already out there in nurse life feeling overwhelmed or even questioning your confidence, I've got your back. I'll be sharing tips, tricks, resources, and strategies that are just for you. We'll dive into everything from landing that dream nursing job to slaying imposter syndrome, and most importantly, how to keep that spark alive and stay the vibrant and amazing nurse that you are. So if you're ready to tackle the things nursing school did not cover, like how to build a career, trust yourself, and keep your passion strong, then get comfortable because we are about to dive in and make nurse life the best life. Hey there, I'm so happy to have you listening in on today's topic because I have a feeling it will be another one of my more popular episodes. Currently, episode 6, which is titled New Grad Nurse Interview, 5 Mistakes That Could Cost You the Job, is my most played episode. And today's topic will help provide additional insight when it comes to landing a new graduate nursing job. At the time of this recording, I host a free webinar every month that focuses solely on breaking down the different types of interview questions that new grads will be asked in an interview. It is wildly popular, and I've had people attend it multiple times. That's just how value-packed it truly is. After I educate the group on interview questions, I stay on the call until all questions have been answered. You may know I was on the nurse residency hiring committee for years at a magnet institution and was previously a hospital recruiter as well as a nurse manager. So I've interviewed new grads more times than I can count. And this webinar is really fun because I feel like I can share the insights of the hiring team and sort of share with you the secret sauce to interview success. The education in the webinar takes about 90 minutes for me to cover, and then it's time for Q&A, and wow, like I said, I stay on the call until all burning questions have been answered, and let me tell you, I've stayed on the webinar for as long as 90 additional minutes, okay? That means a 3-hour long webinar, because guess what? People, especially nursing students, have a lot of questions. So having done this webinar almost monthly now for 6 months, I am starting to notice a few questions that seem to pop up in every single webinar. So today I figured I would share a few here because I am sure there are a few of you out there with these same questions. By the way, if you need more support finding a job as a new grad, consider joining the New Nurse Society. I have digital courses for creating resume and cover letter documents, as well as a digital course specific for interview skills, as well as a ton of templates and other resources. Plus, I jump on a call with the group 2 times a month to help the members wherever I can. So if you need help landing your dream job, here's my shameless plug. The link to the New Nurse Society online community will be in the show notes, and I hope to see you there. Okay, let's dive into the most commonly asked questions at the end of my free monthly webinar. All right, question number 1 that I almost always get asked is, how can I stand out on my application? Some of you may realize that you are one application oftentimes out of hundreds. And in many cases, especially in California, you are one in 1,000 applicants or more. So how can you stand out? Well, let's chat about a few ways that you can actually do this. First, I want to talk about the objective statement. This is at the top of your resume, and yes, I know many people are saying that an objective statement is an outdated practice. However, I do not believe this. If an objective statement is done correctly, it is extremely impactful. The objective statement is one of the first things the hiring team will see when scanning your resume. If it is impactful, you will engage the hiring team, which is exactly what we want. As you know, this statement is at the top of your resume, and use this space to highlight your current professional goal, which is likely to land the job at the facility that you are applying to, and use it to highlight your unique experiences or skills that you have. Give them a peek at what you have to offer and give them a reason to continue to skim the rest of your resume. On the flip side, if your objective statement is vague and boring and generic, then I would recommend you just remove the objective statement altogether. If you've listened to my podcast, then you know I like to give true, tangible examples and advice. So here we go. Here is a traditional objective statement that is vague that I want to use and show as an example. Okay, here we go. A nursing student graduating this spring with a bachelor's of science in nursing, eager to begin nursing career in a supportive environment that fosters professional development. A compassionate, kind, hardworking, and caring individual excited for an employment opportunity at General Hospital. Okay, so that statement is one that I swear I've seen 100 times. Again, please keep in mind that the first thing the hiring team will see on your resume, well, aside from your name, is the objective statement. So it is so important that we highlight unique experiences and qualities specific to you. This makes your application memorable and unique. All right, so let's go to an example of a more impactful objective statement. Okay, so here's another one. A BSN prepared new grad nurse that is eager to build upon existing nursing knowledge while a member of the nurse residency program at General Hospital. With an extensive background in hospitality and customer service, as well as achieving leadership recognitions, Caroline is ready to bring these learned experiences to the workplace and become a contributing member of the General Hospital healthcare team. Do you see how this example gives the hiring team a peek at what Caroline has to offer? I start with BSN prepared because, yes, that is preferred by hospitals. Then the objective statement provides the hiring team with, again, a peek into Caroline's experience when it says extensive background in hospitality and customer service and achieving leadership recognitions. We already know that this candidate is unique and has something more to offer. Okay, another way to stand out in the application process is to get powerful letters of recognition or references. If you want tangible tips and examples on how to do this, go listen to episode 3, which is titled The Truth About Getting Your First Job as a New Grad Nurse and Why It's Not as Easy as You Think. I give really great examples here of strategic ways to ask someone to write you a great letter of recommendation and or be a reference. Okay, so now I want to jump to cover letter. Lastly, your cover letters need to be specific to the hospital that you're applying to. In my resume and cover letter digital course, which you get access to as a member of the New Nurse Society, I walk you through information worth including in your cover letter. An impactful cover letter gives the hiring team an idea of who you are, as well as your character, but also provides a clear and personal reason why you want to work at that specific facility. I can confidently say that I can spot a generic cover letter from a mile away, and so can anyone else that hires people regularly. Remember, generic is boring, unengaging, and very, very forgettable. Okay, so that is sort of my end of my application saga. I want to now pivot to our next question. So, the next commonly asked question that I get at the end of my interview webinar is typically around money. Okay, pay usually comes up in the Q&A portion of the webinar, and the first pay related question that I often get asked is, when will I be told what the pay is? In most situations, you will not know the hourly pay for the position until the time of offer, and usually the time of offer is after an in-person interview. However, I have heard of some hospitals being more transparent with their pay, and some may provide the information when they meet with you or early in the hiring process. I've also seen the pay posted directly on the job posting, which I think is really refreshing to see. However, I would say in most situations, after you interview, a recruiter from the organization will call you to extend an offer. It is at this time that you will be given pay information. This should include the hourly pay, the shift differential, so evenings, nights, weekends, and holidays. The offer usually has your contracted hours, meaning how many hours per week you will work. So most are 36, but I know some are 32 or 24, and I've even heard a 40-hour work week. The recruiter will also go over benefits with you at this time as well. I want to add here that I don't normally recommend or encourage candidates to ask what the pay is for the position during their interview. Most do not ask, to be honest, but during the interactions that I have been a part of where the candidate inquires about pay, it usually makes for an awkward exchange, and it is typically one of the final interactions during the interview. Having this awkward exchange at the end of an interview usually leaves a less than ideal lasting impression. Instead, you want your final moments together to be full of connection, possibility, and one that is overall positive. The second pay related question I get asked is, can I negotiate pay as a new grad nurse? I want to be honest with you, there is not much you can do when it comes to negotiating pay as a new graduate nurse. And here's why. Each role within a healthcare facility has a pay grade scale. When you enter the workforce as an RN with no prior RN experience, you are at the bottom of the pay scale with all of the other new grad nurses. This is also the case even if you have prior LPN experience. It doesn't hurt to ask if there's any wiggle room, especially if you have prior LPN experience or if you have years of service as a contracted employee at that specific organization. So, what I mean by that is if you were a tech CNA, medical assistant, let's say for 5 years at General Hospital, working a contracted position, which is either part time or full time hours every single week, and then you graduated nursing school and get an offer at that same hospital, and in this scenario, it's General Hospital, you could try to leverage your prior commitment in order to negotiate. This doesn't usually work, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Also, being employed as a per diem employee doesn't apply to this either. It's usually just those with contracted part-time or full-time hours that have this leverage. Another popular question that I am asked is, what do I do if I officially accept a new grad position at one hospital and then my dream job calls me with an offer? This happens all the time. I want to always encourage you to take the job that is the best fit for you. So in this case, if hospital A is where you accepted, but hospital B is a better fit and they just called with an offer, you better take hospital B. I do want to encourage you here to take some time, though, to really compare both positions. Once you retract an offer, you can't go back and say, oh, never mind, I want it back again. So I want you to take some time to look at the specialty of both offers, the shift, the pay, start date, benefits like PTO accrual and insurance coverage, and decide which position is the best fit for you. If you know someone who works at these hospitals, reach out and ask them the good and the bad and the ugly. Do your research before you decide to pivot. Okay, so back to the situation. Again, we accepted hospital A, but hospital B called with an offer, and we would rather work at hospital B. This is what you will do. You will accept hospital B, and then you will call the recruiter or whoever offered you the position at hospital A, and you will retract your acceptance. I want to emphasize the importance of the way we deliver this news, and it really needs to be in a professional manner, and be sure to thank them for their time and effort. Here is a quick example. Hi, recruiter. This is Caroline. You offered me a nurse residency position on Unit C8. I have some unfortunate news. I'm sorry to say this, but I'm calling to retract my acceptance. I was just offered another position, and after looking at it closely, it is the better fit for me at this time in my life, personally and professionally. I hope you understand, and I'm so sorry for the inconvenience, and I hope our professional paths cross again in the future. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Okay, yes, the recruiter may be a bit frustrated or upset because their job is to fill positions with people that would be a good fit and likely stay employed. But do not let this stop you from pursuing the job that is the better fit for you. I also recommend that you send the nurse manager that you are going to work for an email saying the same thing. You will not get in trouble for retracting an acceptance, and it will not prevent you from being hired there in the future. My biggest piece of advice is to notify the hospital that you're retracting an offer as soon as you can so that they can extend an offer to another new graduate nurse to fill their position that they thought you were going to fill, and deliver this news in a professional way. If there is one thing I've learned in my 13 years of nursing, it is to never burn a bridge. The nursing community is smaller than you think, and paths tend to cross again somewhere down the road. All right, shifting gears. This next question that I'm going to cover is for my California nurses. I swear someone in Cali always asks me about actually needing a portfolio to provide the hiring team during an in-person interview. I am not sure who started this trend with this portfolio, but man, everyone seems to have caught the wind of this practice. So, from my understanding, a portfolio is a binder full of all your printed documents, your cover letter, resume, certifications, etc. Typically, people ask me if they should create a portfolio for their interviews. Usually, the question is, do I really need a portfolio? I personally do not see any benefit with providing a portfolio with all of this information that you already submitted when you applied online. But I guess if everyone else is doing it in California, you might as well too. My tip here, though, is to make it different, make it unique. Consider including copies of your clinical evaluations that have instructor feedback highlighting your abilities. Consider making a fun FAQ sheet about you with information and details about who you are. Make your portfolio fun, engaging, and personal. Give the hiring team more evidence to hire you. The more that you can provide a personal way for the hiring team to connect with you, the more memorable and engaging you are. This is an impactful tactic for a short interaction. I also want to add here, if you wrote a dissertation or a big capstone paper, or you had to roll out a project and you want to kind of print that material and put it in your portfolio, great. That's something new and different. The point here is to add value to this portfolio and not just make it a basically 3D copy of your online application. The last question that I receive at the end of my new grad interview free webinar is, should I take a position that is part of a nurse residency program over a position that is not part of a residency program? My recommendation here is that you should take the first position that you are offered, regardless of residency status, to ensure that you have a job lined up. If you find yourself with additional offers, you need to then really look at both offers in their entirety. And I want you to compare contracted hours, schedule, shift, pay, specialty, benefits, work culture, etc. I support you accepting whatever job you feel is the best fit for you. However, to get back to the heart of the question, I do strongly encourage new grads to be part of a nurse residency program if possible. Studies have shown nurse residency programs are more supportive and have a higher new grad nurse retention rate than hospitals without a residency program. Nurse residency programs are typically 12 months long and include weekly or monthly meetings focused on learning new skills, policies, equipment, treatments, and so much more. It's a great opportunity for focused learning off the unit, which really allows for you to take a deep dive into whatever learning topic is being reviewed. I remember when I went through the Vizient Nurse Residency program almost 13 years ago now, we were required to implement a practice change and roll it out within the hospital. We focused on chest tube care and ended up educating all of the hospital staff that cares for chest tubes on how to use it and our new practice. Although an evidence based practice project implementation probably doesn't sound appealing after finally graduating nursing school, I will say it was a great way to feel like you were really contributing to the healthcare team. Plus, our hospital then flew us to Florida to share our findings with the Vizient Nurse Residency National Conference, and we even stayed at the Ritz-Carlton. It was honestly so much fun. Aside from learning about skills and job related tasks, being a part of a nurse residency program is a great way to connect with other new nurses and get to know people in the same chapter or transition period as you. Going from a nursing student to an actual practicing nurse is a crazy, wild transition. You will experience all kinds of emotions and situations that are challenging to work through. I remember situations on the unit where I was left feeling confused, lost, frustrated, and so many other emotions. However, meeting weekly with other new grad nurses was an incredibly validating component of the program. Many of our sessions involved sharing vulnerable experiences and working through them together. Hearing my peers experience similar patient and or coworker situations on the floor made me feel validated and less alone. This is really critical to minimizing the imposter syndrome that many new nurses struggle with during that first year or two of bedside practice. Now, while I do recommend new grads start in a nurse residency program if possible, ultimately it's most important that you choose a position or job that best fits you because that will likely determine your success. If it is important or crucial that you have access to additional support when it comes to learning and emotional support, a nurse residency program would be best for you. All right, my friend, that is a wrap on today's episode. I hope this helped answer some of your burning questions and gave you the confidence to crush your job search. Remember, you've got this, and if you need extra support, come hang out in the New Nurse Society. We've got all the resources, courses, and coaching to help you land that dream job. The link is in the show notes. Oh, and before you go, if you enjoyed this episode, do me a quick favor, rate and review the podcast. It seriously helps so much, and I'd be forever grateful. All right, go out there and keep being amazing. And as always, I have one hand for me and the other for you. Signing off. Well, that's it for today's episode of Life After Nursing School. I hope you feel more confident and ready to tackle the challenges that come with starting your nursing career. Remember, the first year or two might not be easy, but with the right mindset, you can overcome anything. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a future episode. Also, please consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. It helps so much in reaching other new nurses like you. Thanks for listening, and remember, you've got this. Take care and see you next time.